Tertúlia.
Tertúlia.
Meu boa tarde aí para todos e todas.
Good afternoon
Hoje
all.
é dia
Today
16 de
is
janeiro de
January
2011,
16,
domingo.
2011,
O verbete é
Sunday.
1811.
The entry is 1811
páginas,
for page
44
44
logias
ologies
e
and
18
18 maxima.
Chamamos a
I
atenção
would like
para
to
o
call your
detalhismo,
attention
que tem
for the
12
detailism, which has
tema
12
do
maxima. The
verbete,
theme of this
felicidade
entry is
patológica.
pathological
A
happiness.
especialidade
The subfield is
parapathologia.
parapathology.
Definição.
Definition.
A felicidade
The pathological
patológica é a
happiness
qualidade do
is the
estado
characteristic
enganoso
of
de
deceiving
estar
state
feliz
of being
ou de
happy or the
pseudo-plenitude
conviction
da
of total
autossatisfação da
plenitude of
consciência.
consciousness, self-satisfaction.
A real felicidade
The
como
real
sendo gerada
happiness
pela autocerteza da
generated by
evidência
the
evolutivamente prioritária.
self-certainty for
A
the
evitação do fruto fútil da
priority
frivolidade.
evolution.
Nós chamamos a atenção na
I'd like to call your
argumentologia,
attention
taxologia,
in
que tem 10
argumentology,
condições
taxology. We
ou
have 10 different
manifestações
conditions
básicas
or basic
específicas da
manifestations
felicidade patológica,
of specific pathological happiness,
as consciências
trying and seducing the
Na remissiologia
intraphysical consciousness.
destacamos 5
Remissiology, we
verbetes
have
distintos.
5 entries among
assédio
15.
bioquímico,
Adversity is the
autocognição
one.
gratificante, bambu,
Rewarding
eulogia e júbilo
self-cognition, lucky hit study,
Frase
and
enfática. A
jubilation
felicidade real,
of cosmetical
o bem-estar
jubilation.
ideal da consciência somente podem ser gerados a partir da autocerteza da evidência
The
prioritária
conscious
da
real
manifestação
happiness or
pessoal,
ideal well-being
com
can only
bases
be
evolutivas
created from the
cosmológicas.
self-certainty of the essential
ainda se
evidence
ilude com a
of
felicidade
personal
patológica?
manifestation with
Por qual
cosmoetical evolutionary foundations. Do you readers still
Ora,
fool
pergunta.
yourself with pathological
Dias antes
happiness?
dos
For
últimos
which
eventos
reason?
catastróficos, passei
Questions.
muito mal.
Before
Tive forte
these
ressaca
catastrophes
energética na
in the
véspera
last days,
e uma
I
semana antes
had
algumas vezes.
some problems with
O que faço
energy.
para me conscientizar
How can
nesse
I
momento sobre o que irá ocorrer no futuro?
Make
Como
sure what
devo
is
agir
going
em
to
relação
happen in the
ao campo
future in
energético?
this kind of
Olha, a melhor
condition?
coisa que faz mesmo
Well,
é
the
essa
best
técnica
thing
que nós
is
falamos do registro.
to
Registra
take
suas
notes.
vivências, sensações,
Take
etc.
note of everything that you feel,
Depois,
your
com o
sensations,
tempo,
and
você
as
vai
the time
acumular
goes by, you are going to
para ver a sua
accumulate
sinalética. Aí você vai
your
decidir
signal,
interpretar melhor os fatos.
personal signals, and then
Outra,
after that you can
fazendo a
interpret
técnica do EV na
more
cama, à noite,
the facts.
sentir forte as energias
Another
da minha
one.
namorada. Estavam
Yesterday I
melhor.
was installing the
Depois do EV,
vibrational
relaxei
state.
e
I was
dormi.
sleeping with my
Quando deu 4 horas da
girlfriend,
manhã, ela
and
levantou
when
e
it was
deitou em outro
4
quarto.
o'clock in the morning,
Pela manhã me falou que não conseguia
she
dormir
left
porque a
the
cama
bed
vibrava.
and she told
Os
me in the morning that she
pensamentos
could
dela
not
passavam
sleep
descompassados. O que pensar
because
disso?
she was not feeling
Depois de
well.
dia, fazendo EV 20 vezes,
After
no
one
dia
day,
seguinte, minha cabeça estava dolorida.
installing the
Que poderia
vibrational
ser
state
reflexo de
for
intenso do EV.
20 times a
Olha,
day,
a primeira coisa, quanto
I
ao
feel
caso da sua
like
namorada,
this.
é
What
lógico que aí
can
tem assédio.
be something like
Isso aí
this?
eu preciso de ver
You know, in
que
the-
às vezes é aquele negócio
If you
do
analyze your
triângulo
girlfriend
amoroso
and
extrafísico.
you,
É
maybe
que
you
já
have a
o jogo com
triangle of
aí é que
love,
entra o íncube e
and
súcubo.
maybe it can
A gente
be
tá falando
an
aí, pode
intrusion.
ser, o processo é esse. Agora, sobre
But
o processo de EV,
Talking
você tem que
about
examinar
your
pra ver
vibrational
o tipo
state,
de
you
EV, o que tá
can
acontecendo
examine
com
and
você.
see what is going on with
EV não
you.
dá ressaca.
Vibrational state
Assistência não dá ressaca.
doesn't
né,
give
gente?
you
Tem que examinar o que é isso.
the hangover. You have to examine that.
Agora, sobre aqui uma nossa amiga,
And here we have a
mandou
friend.
aqui, eu precisava de falar com o Dr. Jarbas.
Well,
aí
I need to
o
talk
homem
with
que mexe
Jarbas.
aí com aplicações,
He
investimentos.
deals
eu não
with
tenho os nomes.
the
Aqui ó, tem um nome de uma moça para entrar em contato.
investments.
Com ela. Tem os dados.
So I have this lady, and I need him to keep in touch, to get in touch with her.
Agora eu queria falar para vocês
I'd
sobre
like
as
to tell you
pontuações
about
de
the
2010.
2010 facts from
Instituto.
IIPC, the Institute.
Total de consciência
Total
cadastrado
of
no IPC,
consciousness,
202.039 pessoas.
to
Novos participantes em
2002,
4.748.
4,748
Número total de voluntários.
new
645.
students, volunteers,
Voluntários da
645,
sede de Foz do Iguaçu.
volunteers in Foz, 65,
Número de professores,
Teachers,
278.
278.
Número de SCP-1.
Numbers of ICP-1.
Candidatos
100.
à docência, 242.
Teaching candidates, 242. Number of events, 1,688.
17.126 pessoas. Média de eventos por dia.
Average of events a day, 4.6.
Total de cidades.
Total of
com
cities with events, 157.
Total de países atendidos.
Countries attended, 6.
2 continentes.
2 different continents.
Cidades atendidas no
And
exterior.
abroad, cities abroad. We have a lot of them here.
É muito importante.
It's
isso
very
aqui.
important,
As
this.
157 cidades têm todo o nome aqui.
You know, there's 157 cities. We have all the names here. It's very interesting.
São 157 cidades.
We have here
atendidas. Agora, as
57
unidades ativas
cities
atualmente do
attended.
IPC são 20 unidades ativas.
We have 20 active
Vocês veem
unities.
que o IPC está forte.
You
Ele
know,
é
the
muito
IIPC
maior do
is
que era
very
antigamente.
strong. It's bigger than it was before. It's very important to show this reality.
Hein?
Today is IIPC's anniversary. Yeah, I know.
Agora,
It's the day.
23 anos, é isso? 23 anos.
23 years old?
É uma data séria.
It's
Tá chegando
serious.
perto de 24.
It's almost getting 24.
É 23 e meio, né?
It's 23 and a half. You know, people say
Agora, outra
things like
pergunta.
that.
Gostaria, de possível, que o senhor ampliasse o seguinte tópico.
Another thing.
Crescendologia.
I would like you
Principais
to
exemplo,
elaborate
primeiramente.
on
Crescendology.
crescendology.
Personização consciente.
The
zibilismo,
crescendo, the
doença
progressive
mental
crescendo.
cronificada. O problema é o seguinte, a patopensenização. Uma
Parathesianization,
pessoa que penseniza erradamente.
lucid parathesianization, mental
Isso vai dar um
unbalance.
cedo
So
ou
if
tarde
the
mental.
person has
Aí
a
vem a
mental
doença
unbalance,
mental cronificada. É
it
assim que
leads to
aparece
the
o processo da
chronified
demência e
mental
outras coisas mais.
disease,
Oligofrenia e outras coisas.
oligophrenia and other things.
Sindromologia, página 19,
Syndromology,
primeira
page
linha.
19, first
Ação da
line.
imaginativa intencional. É
The
aquela pessoa que vive no mundo da
intentional
nuvem,
imaginative distortion syndrome
distorce
is someone who
pela
always
imaginação, a
imaginating
realidade e a
things.
intenção.
And this
Está
person
na cabeça
distorts
dele.
all
Quer
the
dizer para vocês que
reality.
no verbete de hoje,
I want to tell
na
you that the
antonimologia, Altos
entry
a 7 está faltando 3
today,
letras.
antonymology, there is a
E
little
também na pensenologia,
mistake.
estudo pensene está com
Thosenology,
a
stud,
mais.
thosine,
E eu quero
there is
dizer
an extra
que no
T.
meu caso aqui me deram
and
antagonismologia,
and
está
here
tudo
in my
sublinhado.
entry,
Isso
the
original
antagonismology
não tem,
is underlined,
Alguns
totally
ali
underlined,
parece
and I
estar
never
sublinhado
use that.
também. Alguns estão sublinhados.
So some of the entries are underlined.
Isso aí no original não tem isso.
In the original entry, it's
Agora,
not
de modo
used,
geral,
this underline.
felicidade patológica.
So
Eu acho que
here we
vocês
have
estão conversando
pathological
esse capaz
happenings. I think you are not in this case anymore.
Vamos dizer, elegância.
You are escaping from this with elegance.
Porque de vez em quando até alguns estão chorando.
Sometimes, you know, there are people who are still crying with pathological happenings. Professor, I would like to talk about antonymology,
Bem-estar legítimo.
the legitimate
Qual que é esse
well-being.
bem-estar legítimo? Eu te
What is
pergunto
that?
a você o que é.
I'm asking you, what is that? I would like to say that I'm very grateful with the course
Então você está com
that
bem-estar legítimo.
today is the end of the first model of
Bem-estar legítimo
parapsychism
é porque
school.
Você tem bem-estar,
So the
conforto pessoal,
intimate well-being is
sem
when you are feeling
abusar do
good,
direito das
not
outras pessoas.
abusing to
Esse aqui
the
é
right
bem-estar.
of
Então, ele é
others.
legítimo, ele é
So it's
límpida,
a
ele é
legitimate, it's
puro.
pure,
Ele não faz mal para ninguém. Só faz
it's
bem para
good
você.
for everyone and you. So the level that we meet in these courses is very high, and I have all the ideas about we have to do. but I'm sure that's the right way. That's why the legitimate well-being is very correct for this case. And the importance for the parapsychism is it's very important. The development of parapsychism is very important. Could you talk about in numerology on page 19, the kind of personality? You know, where is it? Page 19 in numerology. In numerology. The inferiority feeling. The act of not stuck up, what of bending on oneself, the act of bending on one's knees. What do you want to know about that? Why did you reinforce the idea? So the most sensitive person is the one who bends on his or her knees. You know, it's related to religion. They are the readers with no criticism. But we have to think. Take a look to the taxology, intraphysical fame, the
hebetismologia, é o hebetismo. O banalismo é cultura inútil.
The unuseful culture, the hyper-consumism, the masquerade is fortunistic. So the happiness in general, schinism, the anorexia, the self-mummification, parapsychophobia, riskomania, the racing cars and the box, the theocratic salvationism, Schadenfreude, and the malexis, or extraphysical melancholy, the toxicomania, the smoking habits, alcoholism, and cocainism. So all those things are related to the pathological happiness. What would be the main point of the pathological happiness and the healthy happiness? What is the point of the pathological happiness in terms? What is the main characteristic, the main cause of the pathological happiness? Immaturity, inexperience, and the opposite, the healthy happiness. Evolution, knowledge, cognition. It's the opposite what I said before.
Agora, gente, tudo é processo matemático.
But everything is a process of math, arithmetics.
No mínimo.
At least, all my entries, most of them are arithmetics. My ideas are arithmetics. Most of the sections that I use, the 70 sections that I use are arithmetics. For example, the principle of cause and effect, the principle of the self-commotism. We have also the personal code of cosmoethics. It's not easy. And theorology, the discard of things, the junk thing. Yeah.
Aproveitando, teve uma aqui que eu deixei passar, eu tinha marcado na interdisciplinologia.
I missed someone here in interdisciplinology. There is a little mistake, there is something to be changed.
A autoenganologia.
Self.
Auto-engano, está com N. Muito bom.
Autoenganologia is with you.
Agora, eu não entendo. Você copiou isso em algum lugar, por isso você não está sublinhado?
In your entry?
O seu não está sublinhado.
Is your entry underlined? No, I downloaded at home and it's not with this mistake. No, I don't use this underlined
Pode falar.
Process. So you have to take out. Professor, in numerology.
O que tu queres, Tânia?
What do you want, Tânia?
Pode desenvolver esse último?
Could you talk about the last one?
O ato de entrar em coma rígido.
The act of getting into a visual coma. I talk about visual coma. There's another place that I talk about that.
Agora, o ato de entrar em coma vígil.
The act of getting into
É o chamado zumbi.
visual coma. It's the zombie.
É o morto vivo. É a alma penada
It's the
que
ghost.
respira.
E pode
Who still
felicidade,
is breathing.
Tem felicidade. Tem felicidade na você virar zumbi?
Is it happiness to be a zombie? It's pathological. For example, someone who uses drugs. This guy feels very happy for 5 minutes and spends the rest of his life feeling bad. This is pathological. They are the dumb people. There is no way out. Cocaine. Crack, and there is another one which is even worse, the last drug. It's something like crack, but they put something extra and, it kills fast, even faster.
Você considera isso felicidade patológica ou chega a ser nem felicidade?
Affective syndrome, ectopic syndrome. Do you think it's pathological happiness? You have just to observe people who applauded Hitler. They were happy. Hi Hitler, they were feeling good. They were thinking that they were the best nation of the world. They would dominate the earth for 1 millennium. So within politics, due to the process of the power, is the place that we have, is the condition that we have more pathological happiness. So it's the time that we have, foolish thing that involves a lot of people when this kind of condition spread. It's even worse. So this is the political process.
Aquele que achar que não tem, está na hora de criticar, acabar com isso. Vamos ver o que dá. Agora, tem muita coisa na enciclopédia sobre esse processo.
So we have a lot of different things in the encyclopedia talking about this process. You have just to look for. You have to look for parapathology.
Alguma substância no processo do detalhismo.
In the detailism, we have 12 maximum.
12 máximos. Você não achou nenhum repetido aí hoje, não?
Haven't you found anything repeated here? No? Okay.
Agora, de modo geral, nós temos que entender isso.
In general, we have to understand
no caso de novo da síndrome da ectopia afetiva, no caso, o casal
talking about the
vive mal,
syndrome,
mas não se separa.
affective syndrome. The couple, the duo who live together. Nowadays we have, a different condition. People get divorced, but they live in the same house. I know a lot of different cases like that. They live in the same house in order to avoid the problems. It's the same with the distribution of the state. It's the same case. Sometimes you have to become. The same thing is related to the divorce.
Hoje está muito comum.
Sometimes, people
Isso não é o ideal, não.
live together even after the divorce. This is not the ideal.
Já é um paliativo.
If the couple, if the dude has a kid, for example, it helps. But it's not happiness.
Agora, é dura quando o negócio começa a ficar mais complicado dentro da mesma casa.
Sometimes the things get even more complicated. They, the man dates someone, and the woman dates someone else, and also the kids, and the kids also get someone to date, and it's very complicated. They are all living together.
É aquele dito popular. Quem casa quer casa, longe da casa que ele casa.
So there is an old saying that says that who marries wants his or her own house.
Seria aquela aspiração daquela pessoa que quer se vingar e ela espera prazer, uma felicidade.
In my opinion, the pathological happiness is someone who wants to make revenge.
Pior é isso.
The worst thing is when
ver o cara na cadeira elétrica, porque ele
someone is going to see
Agora, depois que mataram o cara, passa uns anos,
someone in the electrical chair because this guy had killed his daughter, for example.
Ele sente durante anos e anos. Tudo isso eu já
I've seen a lot of cases like that. In the United States, especially.
O tal do quem ri por último, ri melhor, aquela coisa toda que você fica esperando a desgraça do outro.
So it's the condition that you wait for the unfortunateness of the others. But people don't understand about the extra-physical euphoria. That's why things like that happen.
Técnica da paraconfrontação desassediadora.
Technology, second line, the intrusion technique.
Encarar o processo do assediador.
You have to face the process of the intruder. This technique is you have to be calm and use diplomacy, have a good intention, and have the maximum of discernment. That's the technique. Another thing on antagonismology, second line. We have here bad feeling, mal-estar in Portuguese. It's one word.
É bem-estar e mal-estar.
Do we have a hyphen here? No, I use together. That's my way.
Existe, não? O bem-estar é que tem isso. O mal-estar não precisa.
The well-being has an hyphen, but I saw in the dictionary. Saccone.
Não, Saccone tem, não. Eu não sei Saccone.
Yeah, Saccone has, but I don't follow Saccone.
Nós temos aí
we have down there in the holocycle more than 5,000 dictionaries.
Professor, aqui.
Professor here.
Em estrangeirismologia.
In foreignismology, on second line you put this thing of the multidimensional resume. What do you mean with this? The nódoa is the person who had a Schadenfreude condition, who laughed about others. And this condition goes to his or her personal file. It's an stain. It's a stain in her file.
Ali é o BO.
This is
a parte do BO da ficha da pessoa. Eu desejo
accident occurrence or accident report of the person. I hope that you don't have from now on any accident reports anymore.
É o jeito.
That's the way.
O caminho. Quem é mais que está aí estudando aí a felicidade patológica?
Who are here
De vocês já não é
who is studying the pathological happiness.
Esse verbete não é para vocês.
So what I say is that this entry is not for you anymore. You are here to make assistance.
Esse não é mais diretamente.
It's not directly
Nem o Arlindário não
for
passa
you.
mais por isso.
Even Arlindário is better. He overcame his Italian processes. He doesn't do more like this anymore. Maquei.
Porca lá, alguma coisa, não tem mais nada.
He doesn't say anymore porca and something.
Não, o pior é porca la Madonna.
Porca la Madonna.
O professor podia falar da numerologia?
Could you talk about
de uma forma diferente dessa vez?
in numerology you have done in a different way at this time?
No vácuo da
So you are in the Tonia's wave vacuum in numerology?
É essa que você quer?
Is this one that you want?
Tem processo diferente. Ela começa...
This numerology is a bit different.
Sentimento de inferioridade.
So we have inferiority feeling, the act of not stuck up.
Ela acaba baixando o tupete. Ela acabou o tupete.
So
o ato de curvar a espinha.
The act of bending oneself.
O ato de dobrar os joelhos.
The act of bending on one's knees.
O ato de
It's a little more advanced.
Sim, seu mestre, sim.
The act of being obedient. The act of being a scapegoat. You know, that one who goes before. And it's general condition. And the act of getting into a video coma, it's the act of being a zombie.
É como se falasse a raiz primeiro e depois desce os exemplos.
So you mentioned before the root and after you gave examples, is something like that?
Isso aqui é trabalho que eu tive olhando no PSEC, me deu muito.
This is something that I was looking
esse aqui já é desse tanto.
Up on PSEC, the dictionary. You said that is different. I've done more than 100 entries like this with this kind of numerology. PSEC is a dictionary. I brought here and I showed you.
Agora veja, eu ainda não li todos.
But I haven't read all the entries of these dictionaries. I'm going to read all over.
Agora eu já fiz uns 100 mais ou menos.
I have done 100 numerologies like this. Do you think it's logical?
Você vê a pessoa abaixar pouco a pouco, acabar com ele. Agora, o PSEC não tinha ideia disso.
PSEC doesn't have any idea about this.
Uma página inteira que está escrevendo essas coisas.
He could write a full page of like this, but he's just put in the alphabetical order.
Agora, o meu aqui não, já obedece uma linha lógica.
But here I use a logical line from the inferiority feeling to the video coma.
Agora, você vai ver da agora em diante, vai aparecer uma opção aí.
From now on, there's going to be a lot of different numerologies like that.
Agora, eles são bons porque são práticos. Uma coisa, alguns deles usam a linguagem popular.
Some of the PSEC's examples are very good because they have popular examples. Sometimes I use an erudite examples, and sometimes it's good to use collocations and quotations. That's why I use it that. I have done more than 100.
É o que a gente está precisando. Agora, o PSEC que tem de melhor que eu achei.
The best thing about PSEC is
mas tem uma área lá de adjetivos.
The area of adjectives.
Tem 4 seções. Uma delas
all the entries have 4 sections. And this section would be the general part. Some of the parts of the general part of the entry has 2 or 3 lines. So what I do is to follow the 5,000 dictionaries that I have. Someone who consults the dictionary, the lexicologist, he is someone who copies dictionaries. It's my case. Most of the definitions that I use, I look up in the wise. Is the one that I like most, but sometimes my ideas doesn't go on with his.
E é aquilo que tem mais no dicionário. É o processo de definir as coisas.
Não, só para estar falando da numerologia.
You were talking about the numerology.
Aprofundar esse primeiro aí, o sentimento de inferioridade.
Can you go deep
patológica?
On the inferiority feeling related to the pathological happiness and numerology, the first item. Can you give me an example? The inferiority feeling is used since Freud. The inferiority complex, it's a stigma that the person has. Here we have this kind of condition. Some ladies that show up here in terms of intellectuality, they have this kind of feeling. Freud was the one who developed this idea. I could not perceive the link between this inferiority feeling and the pathological happiness. So, one of the biggest mistakes that lead to the extra-physical melancholy is the superstition or the fanatism, the religion fanatism. This is the thing that gives more problems. So, the person realized that she or he lost her time, and there is no way out for this. There is no way out for this person. This person is on the corner, and the extra-physical melancholy comes from this condition.
Arlindo, na religião, a humildade, que é o sentimento de inferioridade na prática,
the inferiority feeling
ela se sente a mais humilde.
Sometimes gives happiness to the person. The person feels well with that.
Muito positivo, enaltece ela perante.
You know, the person feels good and positive.
Agora, a gente precisa estudar essa
But we have to study this condition
ajudar as outras pessoas.
in order to help other people.
O processo, nós temos que entender isso.
We have to understand this process in order to make assistance. You are going to have more patience.
Ver as pessoas.
And
que às vezes os fatos
sometimes
são tão óbvios.
The pathological facts are so obvious that it's just obvious and the person can see, and then because of that you can help the person to understand that. This illusion, this fantasy, this delirious, this imaginative things is a paradox, is a contradiction. When the person realizes that he or she is in contradiction, the happiness becomes something really bad. It's a very hard condition for the person.
In Taxology, page 20, I would like to know, it was not clear to me the condition of Schadenfreude and after the extra-physical melancholy. Item number 9, Schadenfreude or morose delectation. Schadenfreude. What do you want? How can the person arrive to the extra-physical melancholy after Schadenfreude? When somebody starts laughing at people suffering, they feel that they are the best at the top. It's a pathological happiness. With the time, the extra-physical melancholy is going to happen for sure. In terms of religion, why do the religious people like to kill other people? Have you seen that? The biggest killers, if we study them, it's the religious people. They feel they are at the top, they are superior. They feel that they are doing that in favor of others to clean the earth. Think about that. Think about this Schadenfreude. All these wars are related to religion. There is always a religious connotation. Well, it's ridiculous because they defend, actually they are against abortion, and on the other hand, they are killing people. You know that lady in the north of the USA, Sarah Palin, she said that it would be good to kill Assange. Can you think about that? She thinks she's the best. She's over the hill. That's what CEAEC does. They keep on killing people on this situation. They blame other people. They say people committed suicide, poison people, or sometimes they blame somebody who has mental problems, like with John Lennon. You know, this lady saying that openly, and there are many more people in the USA who also said that. They say he's just like Bin Laden. They said this very clearly. She gave a list of people who should die because they are dangerous. She's worse than Bush. Bush never wrote the names of his victims, and she's doing that. I want to remind my friends here, the girls, that this lady is a woman. She has no testosterone. She has estrogen. She has a uterus. It's important to understand that. She wants everybody to die. The people who are against her. The joke everywhere in the USA on TV is that she has a hamster IQ. Hamster IQ. It's something a little bit more than a hamster IQ. Well, a hamster is very intelligent. He walks in the treadmill all day long. You know, Bush had an IQ of 80. She must be lower than that. You know, there's a lady who has 228 of IQ. The best one. It's a woman. This lady there is worse than Bush. I thought that he had already gone all the way in terms of the scumbag, despicable people. There is this superiority complex, which is very related to the inferiority complex. The base or the foundation is the same. There is another complex that I like to talk about, which is the mediocrity complex. It's related to the mini dissidents. They don't want to grow. The mediocrity. These have the a priorismosis problem. Another question. I need some help in the way to help my son of 18 years old. Since he was 13, he started dealing with bad people. He has done small thefts, using drugs, and he's causing me a lot of trouble.
tomando conta disso.
Well, do you have a husband? You need your husband to take over. Usually when a son has lost the father, they get disoriented. If you don't have a husband, take one lawyer and one psychiatrist to talk to him. You should show him how he is. And after that, the psychiatrist must help him make a checkup to show him how the results of the drug use are in his head. You need to show everything to him. You need to shock him, give an impact therapy. The way she's saying here, since he was 13, he's using drugs. He's done small thefts, drugs. What are you waiting for, my friend? Take this kid and help him, because after some time, if you don't do anything, you're going to lose your son. Cut everything. If he studies, change the school. If you can, change the city, move to another city. If you can't move to a different neighborhood, if the city is big. Another question, could you comment on the interpersonal dynamics in the intermissive course? Does the consciential therapy prevails on the intermissive course classes? Well, the interpersonal dynamics in the intermissive course were from there to here. When you come here, our interpersonal dynamics, for example, here at the Tertuliarium, are not theoretical anymore. They are practical. So everybody who is born are theoretical. We are beginning to be theoretical here. Theory and practice.
Poderíamos dizer que a frase enfática se refere também à situação da consciência estar em dia com a sua mini.
Can we say that the emphatic sentence also refers to the situation of the conscient being up to date with his or her mini or maxi praxis? Yes, it's the ideal.
Poderia explicar qual a relação, se é que existe, entre paciência e intuição?
Could you explain the relation between patience and intuition? Yes, there is a relation. For example, intuition. You receive an inspiration. This inspiration can be from yourself, if you are discoincident, from the helper, from somebody who said something, from something you are reading, from thousands of factors. This is intuition. If somebody has patience, a bigger patience, they can analyze the intuition better, in a more effective way. But if the person does not have patience, he or she will have problems. Patience helps everybody in every circumstance. Even the person who needs to be effective, they need patience. Apparently, when we say effectiveness and patience, it's strange, because when you talk about effectiveness, it gives the idea of being in a hurry, but you need to have patience. If you tremble, if you shake, how are you in this case? So the problem is to think this way. You need to think very much about this. How can you do the reflection of 5 hours if you have no patience to deepen the study calmly, the reflection? How will you do that? Another question. I am doing my maxi planning of my Invexes for the next 10 years. I use my goals from the courses and the Invexogram as a foundation. This is a mental somatic intelligence. However, I have a question. To what extent can I propose advanced goals, such as consciential epicentrism, due to the fact that nowadays I am still working to master my energies and have projections? Well, everything's okay. You're going to overcome that. After some time, you're going to master some phenomena, and then you're going to achieve that epicentrism. But you need to study the personal cosmoethical code to become an epicenter. This is very important. Think about that. But this is somebody... What's your last name, Sandro? Yeah, he has the same last name as you. Is this your relative, Paulo? He's your brother. So you see that he's sending messages here. Did you know that? No? Oh, forgive me, but I'm going to tell you. This name doesn't appear here every day. Be careful about him. He's going to pass you. Another question. I am a volunteer, I do Penta, and I just found out that my son, who is 18 years old, is working with drugs, dealing with drugs. This is very difficult. I took him to the doctor, and he's taking medicine. I always called him to go to a lecture, and now he wants to go. He's very interested to know you. I promised him to take him to Foz do Iguaçu in May, and he is excited to know you. Oh, that's good. It's good. I want to talk to him. I'm going to ask him to choose what martial arts he wants. It's the mental somatic martial arts. Actually, I'm going to be very happy to talk to him. He's 18. He's my great child. Professor, could you talk about the crescentology? Fourth line, the crescentum, parapathology, transmigratiology. Well, the person has a life with a lot of pathological happiness. They make bad things to other people, and they become a center of pathology. And by then, the people who organize the evolution start thinking and working on the solution for that, and thinking about the transmigration. And this person goes to a condition that they can reorganize things that they were doing wrong. This is the transmigrated extraphysical consciousness. It starts with the everyday parapathologies. Waldo, you talk about the group karmic course, the interpretation, recomposition, liberation, freedom, and so on. But there must be negative levels on that, right? Yes, yes. Even today there is some here in the listing. But there is the genocide. The guy who starts stealing a needle and becomes a killer genocide. But it depends on the grade on the loss, right? Yeah, the number of people. For example, he can cause a huge problem or not. If the destiny of 200 people were jeopardized, then this is very serious. And even more, for example, more than thousands of people, the masterminds. We need to understand the pathological masterminds. These are the worst consciousnesses that are on earth. Because in conventional law, in penalty studies, they have different penalties according to the grade, the level of what people did. And in this study, some points they look at is the time they are going to have the penalty. So the quality of the loss and the quantity of people who were affected. Yeah, that's it. The most serious. This is the most serious. But see if there is any logic. This is related to the Grupal Code of Cosmoethics. I don't know if you are connecting this code to the proexis. People don't connect these things yet. Yeah, we need to study it more. For example, what is the mafia? That's the way to transmigrationology. The guerrillas. Who are they? Let's understand that. Many of them, these guerrillas, they want to have democracy killing others. This is nonsense. This is a mistake. One of the biggest mistakes there are is Fidel Castro, the icon Che Guevara. Che. That's not easy. He said there is, for example, a loss for 200 people. Would this be enough for transmigration? Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't have the indexes of how many you need to be transmigrated. But the transmigration has intensified. When you die, you're going to look for people who you are not going to find anymore. You're going to ask, where is so-and-so? Well, they will be transmigrated. Once I was talking about these subjects to the helper, he has seen people who have decimated and are looking for people who have already transmigrated. And the person asks, why is this person transmigrated? So be prepared, because sometimes you are naive, innocent. Sometimes you're saying, just sometimes, okay. Yeah, sometimes you think that somebody who is the best, actually they are nothing. So the sudden disappearing will be more intensified. This will be around you, your life. I am your friend. That's why I'm warning you. So let's imagine the consciousness is transmigrated. For example, you go there and you look for Arlindo. And where is Arlindo? And you say, oh, he's gone. He's become a Serenissimus. Oh, yeah. Come on. Yeah, I'm saying how things are here. Oh, that's good. But the disappearing will be inevitable. This is getting more intensified. The more you stay here, the more you're going to see in the extraphysical dimension. But the consciousness was transmigrated, and we can access any place, right? Yeah, but you're not going to do that. First thing, most of us don't do that. Why? Why don't we do that? Yeah, I could go there and see the person in their Neanderthal period. I could go there and check. Like a research. No. We are not prepared to see what we are going to see there. This impact therapy, we have no infrastructure to face that. Can you imagine somebody you knew? When you knew this person, he didn't have many mistakes. And then, when you are out of your body and see the person extraphysically, you see, it's the personality. It's very clear. The personality is very clear. That's him there. And it's going to take long for you to metabolize that. The metabolism will be hard. This will make you feel bad. Is this the situation that make enumerador helper even cry once? Yeah, that's it. It was in the 1980s. Almost 30 years now. It was probably in 1983, 84. From there to here, I was studying that a lot. And I told him, what if we have one of these friends from the flying team and go there to check it out? No. They avoid that. It's not that you are helping, that you could help, but you cannot face that. Sometimes you're going to feel somebody you loved, you liked a lot. You go there and you see the Cro-Magnon. A Cro-Magnon. And now it's my connotation. Forget what I'm going to say here, okay? I'm just showing the postscriptum. And I told him, yeah, but then that's time for us to remind how we were as a Cro-Magnon and give them some tips. But most of them avoid that because we don't know the reaction people are going to have if they go there. But do you think there must be more maturity to access that? Yeah, we need more time. For example, an evolutionologist level can deal with that. But we here, the average here, for us, hard. We need to be more flexible with mega fraternity. For example, the consexes went to other planets. I have said here, that experience was to prepare these people, these consexes, to this kind of situation. Well, in terms of transmigratiology, there is an encyclopedia of terms to study. I would like you to give me some tips on the personal code of cosmoethics. Well, the first thing, you need to read the Encyclopedia CD-ROM. You look up for cosmoethics, and you look for that. You're going to see many things on cosmoethics, and then you're going to choose what is related to you, and you do the clauses on that.
There is an article from Professor Everaldo Bergonzini from the journal, the last one. It's on Journal 50S from the last Healthy Journal last year in Portuguese. So Professor Everaldo talks about the personal code of cosmoethics. He gives all the tips how to build your own code. Where is our manager for the cinema, for our cinema? He's not here today. I'd like to tell him that I saw a movie that would be good for you to see, for you guys to see. It's something like, the title is something, Chico, A Dog's Story. I think it's good for you to see that movie. You know, I studied a dog like that when I was living in Japan. This kind of dog, I knew about this dog because I lived in Japan. The name is Acta. There, I studied because of some circumstance. I was trying to understand something. These dogs are very intelligent, but this movie I saw, it's perfect, the movie, in terms of the takes. There are perfect takes. But the dogs, and also the dogs that they choose, they are very well trained. So the adult one is the maximum. The dog is better than the Richard Gere. You know, sometimes you look at the dog's face and, you know, he's just great. You know, Richard Gere is a bad actor. He's a thief. But this actor is very good. He's fraternal. He studied Buddhism. His intentions are good. But as an actor, you know, forgive me, please. He left school. He dropped school before the right time. It's a real history. This dog died in 1924. The dog lasts 10 years, but the film is very well done. Some takes are really perfect. You know, those movies that everyone in this movie had a positive end. And we've seen a lot of films like that on TV. And I think it's a good idea to show this movie, the actor. I'd like to come back to a subject that you were talking about during this week. You were commenting about the compensating diaspora. Could you explain more about that? Well, the main issue about that is that the time that you have to do the settlement of groups, there is always a diaspora, you know, because people are under obligation to other people, and, you know, you can't put all the criminals in the same prison. You have to spread. So you choose this kind of prison for this one and that kind of prison for that one. The prison that I say is the earth, you know. It's a different kind of school. In this condition, you have the different country, you are going to be born in a different country, in a different condition. Is this going to determine the next life, the next resumations? Well, the tendency of our people is to amplify the cosmovision, and the tendency is also to spread this connotation, and everything gets better by this point. And when you are in this condition, you hover over. You hover over all the conditions. So I know because of my personal diaspora, the Chinese diaspora that I lived, I know that I can come back to there, to China, even in this century. It's the same thing that the 16 extraphysicals did. I don't know, but you know that Chinese people had been in America before everyone else. He had a boat, a big one, bigger than the Santa Maria, those ships, and they didn't want to dominate. And to dominate our other people, other lands. And there was a point that they had to leave. And at this point was the diaspora. So I haven't studied this deeply so far because I don't have time, but all those things must be studied. But, for example, China nowadays is starting to spread and also receiving people. They are receiving industry, commerce, foreign interests are getting into this country, and they are starting to imitate everything. The same way that Japanese people imitated the Americans, they are also imitating. So people are coming back to China, the extraphysicals are coming back to China to keep this process ongoing. You were talking about the compensating diaspora. Is also the diaspora related to the amplification of the lucky hit? Yes. It depends on the file. The files lead the connections between people and consciousness. You are going to be with people who have the same file that you have. Sometimes you can be split, and at this point there is going to be the diaspora. But there is also the condition that the balance gets similar, the different balances, they get similar, and then the diaspora disappears.
Tem que olhar isso. Sobrepairamento já há o processo da mini peça assistencial.
The hovering has to do with the mini-cog, the assistential mini-cog.
Vem o CM.
And there we have the evolutionary multi-existential cycle. That's the main point. In my case, before I was born, I knew already what was going to happen after this life.
Em primeiro lugar, minha ficha. Mas tem outra coisa preponderante em cima disso. Depende do momento.
Is the file. It also depends on the evolutionary moment.
Eu posso até ir para lugar melhor que aquilo até para mim e para os outros.
Sometimes I can go to some place better than
então você nunca sabe
this one.
O que acontece. Agora, assim com 70, 100 anos,
we never know what's going to happen.
A modificação agora é muito rápida.
E outra pergunta é a seguinte, você comenta essa questão dos 16 que foram para a China, né, entre eles
you comment about the 16 extraphysicals that went to China.
Seu auto-revezamento lá na China, né, na próxima vida.
And you also talk about your
similar em relação a essa vida, você
next life in China.
Grupo de consciência.
Is something similar happening here in Brazil? No, it's something really strange. There was anyone who came in this way to Brazil. There were people among them that could be helping me here, intraphysically and extraphysically. There were some of those extraphysicals that in the Pandeiro, the extraphysical community that Waldo came from, I saw these people that they were like anonymous in this condition. They were in intentional ostracism. They were living in an anonymity on purpose. There were 3 different extraphysical consciousness, including a woman. There were 3 different consciousness there. There was one that was a woman. They were in Pandeiro. They were not exposed. They were like low profile. From these 16 consciousness, 4 of them were evoluciologists. Well, I'm not sure the things happened really fast. They appeared to me, it was like a reception for me, out of the body. Nobody was with them. They were there to say goodbye. There was one of them that told me what was about to happen. There's a case of twins. Are they among these evoluciologists? No, they were not the evoluciologists. Well, they are personalities. They have extra identity. There was a woman. But it can be something different because we were talking about extra identity. I think that they appeared like the way I met them in previous lives, but doesn't mean that they were like that. All the 16 I met, I had contact with all of them. I was a relative and etc. It's the same thing with Confucius. There is a high level people there. Technical specialties, evolution, we don't know what they are going to do. Sometimes, it's going to be hard to identify their work. But I think there must be something going on now. If I had time, I would go to China and I would go to some specific places with the Diogenes lantern. I would check. Underground, for example.
Do ponto de vista do nível evolutivo é de evoluciologia, evoluciólogos, entre esses 16. Quer dizer, não tinha
so among these 16, there were some evoluciologists. They were all related to Monja. That's why they appeared to me. The lowest level was Desperto? Yes. Yes, there was Despertos. Most of them were in this level. Women and men. In Pandeiro, I had not seen people appearing like that. They appeared without anyone. Just them. Can I talk about you? I asked them. They said, yes, of course. Yeah. They said that because I didn't know anything. But they told me that they wanted to help me. And they told me that they were going to China. So they helped me because they are, just superior of everything that we are doing here. They were superior than we are doing things that we are doing here. They were helping me. They were encouraging me.
Então, a amplitude, a sua cosmovisão do que você estava fazendo aumentou.
Did your cosmovision amplify in that point? Yes, I was.
E outra coisa, não colocar ninguém junto.
By the time that I saw that, I felt better, and there was nobody with them.
Mas agora, por exemplo, os 16 apareceram para mim e cada um se apresentou. Você sabe
the 16 were.
Na hora que você vai entrar no castelo.
The 16 appeared for me. It's the same situation that when you are getting into a new castle, you just bought a castle, and on the left you have the women, and on the right you have the men, and they band for you. So it's the Polish corridor, the Pacific Polish corridor.
Porque o corredor é baseado em gente. Ele é feito por gente, não é por parede nem biombo.
So it was made a corridor of people, and it was very positive. They presented themselves in front of me. I was looking at them. And I counted 16. And then after that, I started thinking about all the things. So they gave me a lot of lucidity in that time. I stopped everything I was doing and I was thinking just about that.
Agora eu falei assim, não, isso aí é a coisa mais séria que aconteceu nessa minha vida.
So this is the most serious thing that is happening in my life.
Isso aí foi o negócio mais sério que aconteceu.
This was the most serious thing that happened in my life.
Porque eu não sei nem o alcance disso.
Because, I don't know even the range of this.
E outra coisa. Dos negócios que eu fiquei encasquetado.
Another thing that made me think was what is the role of China in this context? Why did they come back in China?
Reagrupamento, como eu chamo.
They did like a regrouping.
Até agora eu não vi ainda.
I haven't seen the range so far. Maybe it can, just happen someday, but I haven't seen. There are a lot of wrong things in China. What I think is the worst thing that they have done is to create the North Korea as a satellite of them. It's something really wrong, in my opinion. And nowadays it's even more critical because they have to decide. By the time that they have a bomb, they have to decide. Is this situation going on? So you have to see what they are doing. Another thing, we could characterize that all of these 16 extraphysicals are cosmoetical infiltrated. They are infiltrated. Another thing, very strange, that I know is that they must have resonated together with these underground people. There must be a reason for that. So everything is very well organized. They distributed the 16 in China, so the geopolitics of these I ignore totally. That's the thing that I would like to know.
Agora, extrafisicamente,
but extraphysically talking about
eu,
things.
na minha condição de Zéfiro, posso ir lá e eu vou localizar eu garanto.
I can
eu sei fazer isso.
Localize or
eu fazia com tal
everyone as a Zephyr.
livro do cara e mostrar para ele na livraria dele.
I used to do that with Tao Mao when I was looking for the book, when I found the book of him in Beijing.
A apresentação que eles fizeram foi similar ao que o senhor fala a respeito da caravana lá do equipe da Projeciologia?
It's the same. The presentation that they did was the same as the group of Projectology. Yeah, they were in front of me.
Agora, eu nunca vi nada igual negócio.
But I haven't seen anything like that before. After that, I was analyzing all the things, all my things, to see if it had something similar, but I couldn't find.
Não, as coisas que o Zéfiro, que eu lembro como Zéfiro, não lembro de nada disso. Pode ser.
The things that I remember as Zephyrs, I don't remember about this.
Tem uma desconfiança que seja o Apolônio.
Do you suspect that one of the 16 is Apolônio?
Mas eu não sei.
But I think, yes, I think one of them is Apolônio. But I don't know if he's an evoluciologist. I know that one of the 4 evoluciologists is Confucius. But I never advocate these people. I just exteriorize my energy. They must be adolescents now. They must be adolescents. Is there a possibility that when you resonate in China to be their relative or a relative of one of them? Now I'm going to be very very young.
Nós não teríamos preparado. Porque isso tudo, gente, isso tudo é para esbater. Você sabe bem o que significa esse verbo? Esbater o choque.
This is to prepare the environment. I was prepared for that. Is there a possibility that you could be, the same level of relativeness with Confucius?
Pelo que eu calculei, porque não adianta pregar porque o calendário deles não é o nosso.
They have a different calendar. You have to analyze that. I calculate that I'm going to be back in 89. So we still have 80 years ahead. They are going to be 100 years old. They are going to live as long as they want because they control the body.
Então, o meu problema é o seguinte, na hora que eu for fazer, está tudo velhinho.
When I will be there again,
então, possivelmente, você vai encontrar com alguns deles
when I am again
fisicamente.
In China, they are going to be old.
Pode ser que eles não vão aparecer enquanto eu estiver vivo aqui.
But there is a possibility that they are going to show up before,
por exemplo, você pensou,
while I am alive in this life.
Agora, outra coisa.
Eu
já disse para eles, aqui, depois que eles forem
Think
embora,
about if some evoluciologist shows up.
Pode ser que eu vou identificar vocês, cuidado.
Não, mas pra gente
I told them to not appear again because I'm going to identify them.
Não apareça porque eu vou identificar.
Don't appear again because I'm going to identify.
É chinês.
The only thing that I know is they are Chinese.
Já ficou fácil agora.
Okay, now it's even more easier. We have 1 billion.
Já reduziu bastante.
So it's better for the research now. You know.
Então, agora está mais tranquilo.
So now it's easier to find them. 1 billion people.
Desse mês está lá falando que a nossa população já está começando
our
a chegar
population
a 7 bilhões.
is starting to
Está pertinho do 7.
achieve or reach 7 billion people.
Conexão com a monja.
You said that they are connected with monja.
A monja falou com eles.
Yeah, they were here because monja told them so.
E o que você pode falar, Waldo, em termos
What can you say in terms of, the secondary people, the connection with monja, and the transmigrated ones that we cannot even visit? What is the connection among these 3 different conditions? Those who created problems, we don't have to get in touch with them. We have a lot of problems already. It's a paradox. It's a rescue.
É demais. Já está chegando só intrafisicamente a 7 bilhões.
So, intraphysically, we have 7 billion people. We have a lot of problems here.
Como é que vai ficar isso? O negócio é sério.
It's serious.
Deixa eu ver aqui.
Let's see here.
relacionei com um rapaz.
I have a relationship with
ao fazer a escolha da pessoa.
a guy, and I haven't thought about my existential program.
Por ter identificado nele nível de assistencialidade.
And identified in him a level of assistentiality.
Isso seria manifestação de felicidade patológica?
Is this a pathological happiness? Yes, it's a dumb happiness. It's very common.
Como eu poderia superar
How can I overcome these affective immaturities? I'm tired of myself. The first thing you have to see is that you have to get someone, an evolutionary do. You have to find a man who you can help. If you choose like that, it's not a pathological happiness. But if you are just looking for affectiveness and sexual things, you are making a mistake. If you can help someone, it's better. You are not going to make any mistake by choosing someone to help.
Dora, o homem dos ratos, o pequeno Hans, o homem dos lobos, os tratados por Freud.
The case of Anna, Odora, the man of the rats, and the man of the wolves. Have you followed this people? No. There's one case that Freud analyzed the fact that the guy was out of the body, and Freud could not understand anything because he had no idea about the process of projection. And in my opinion, that's why he fought against Jung. Freud was the one who was smoking cigarettes all the time, If you analyze him, you have to give him a discount. If someone has a cigar on his mouth, you cannot trust in this person. There is no logical. He has a short mind.
Esse foi o motivo que eu tive muito interesse de ver a casa dele.
I visit his house in a museum.
Então, o material mais sério dele é perturbadíssimo, pesadíssimo dele.
His environment was very disturbing. You can see that in London. I went with Graça, and the place is very nice, but the environment.
Agora, então, esse negócio aí do Freud, você me perdoa, mas eu não entro nessa. Eu acho muita besteira.
I don't believe
que eu andei analisando há muito tempo.
In these things about Freud.
Que era projeção.
There is a specific case that I saw that he could not see that it was a projection, and he was trying to interpret in a different way. I work in an ICU, and I see some coincidences, and I think sometimes it's a wholesale intrusion. The patient had a heart attack, and there were 2 more patients on her right and her left.
Como se estivesse acompanhando a tendência
and
de
they started feeling bad.
Para estarem fazendo isso simultaneamente.
at the same time. We had to administrate or to deal with 3 different conditions at the same time. The first one, the patient died, and the other ones, they recovered. Can it be an intrusion? Well, I have a hypothesis about that. I've been talking about that for a long time. I think the ICU must be separated. Why? Because there is a process of contamination. You know, the wave of affective energy can affect the other one. The idea would be, or would have, an ICU with separated beds, not together.
Desde que eu conheci a primeira vez se falar em UTI.
This is a technique.
Eu acho que aí no caso.
I think in this case it's clear. It's this process, but everything indicates that this situation is really bad. Another thing, in the ICU, if some para-physicians are very excited with situation, it can affect all those patients. But one of the most sensitive places is the ICU.
Question: Can we make a list of pathologies where envy, indifference, and selfishness are indicators that the person is not actually healthy? There's no doubt, but you need to see the level of negative energy that the person is capable of exteriorizing. That's the most serious point. To see the healthy part, you need to see this part, the level of pathology in their exteriorization of energies. I've always had a sentiment of inferiority, but it was false because there was a lot of hate. The person inside is like a volcano, an active volcano. Now I'm more calm, and I came to the conclusion that happiness depends on every person. Am I on the way, the right way? Yes. But the most serious thing is vibrational state and interresistance. Help others. Since I was a kid, I have a trauma. At night, I used to feel my soma paralyzed, and I used to be hit by consciences. And since then, I became phobic with the situation. Yeah, this is the nocturnal terror. You need to de-intrude that. I would like to leave my soma and face the concepts, but I can't. I asked the helper for help, but there was no answer. Why can't the helper help me? Well, probably because you are intruded by concepts, 1, 2, or 3, or more. How can I deal with that? I bought the Penta manual and intend to start it after reading. Yeah, you can read it, but first read it very calmly. Don't start it in any way before that, because the first 6 months will be a problem. I see that many phenomena you relate are related to androsomas. Why is that? Well, I have many helpers. Most of them are men. What can I do? Most of them are men, androsomas. The 16 that were there mostly were men. But here, most of the people who help me are women. There's this point too. It's somebody we know that is asking this question. Valdo, hello? Speak loudly. In relation to transmigration, you said that this will impact us and that we need to be prepared because maybe people who are around us will be part of that. Yeah, you're going to say, where is so-and-so? And you're not going to have the answer. So, these people are from this life? No, usually it's something older. Don't think it's something from now. It's people from the times you were the bad wolf. And you are here now and they are still like the bad wolves. When you amplify your universe of assistance, you're going to get to these old people. You're going to look for them and they're not going to be here anymore. Because in this life, when we look for childhood friends, we know how they are, if they have deviated or things like that. Yeah. For example, before, people would kill everybody for nothing. It was the far west. But we can't disconsider these people around us, right? Yeah, that's it. Some of these will be gone. I'm just warning you. For you not to be very shocked and get used to that. But this will impact us. Everybody has contact with millions of consciousnesses. Would you talk about this? For example, somebody who was very well in the praxis had a second soma, and when he becomes to remember things and wants to find friends, how does this happen? This moment that the person becomes more aware of that. Well, when the person remembers, they want to find this person. This is the para-geography. But I want to know about the transition. There are some people that we don't remember now in our hollow memory. Yeah, but if you have lucidity, you'll be able to remember these things. So it varies a lot. You need to remember that you are more lucid now. You have found or got many cons. You are on your best level now. But you need to know your reaction, what your reaction would be. And there is the process of memory besides the lucidity process. Valdo, from what I could understand about China, I don't know if you can say that, I understood that you have no idea of what's going to happen there, right? No. And I guess nowadays nobody knows what it's going to happen in 2091, for example. But you know about reurbanization, right? Yeah, I know about some things that will get better, others will get worse. For example, I've already said that until the year 75, many conscious are going to come, reurbanized consciousnesses. But Waldo, the economics are getting much better now. And the rhythm of the percentages are getting higher. Yeah, taking care about this, I'm looking at these things. But for example, the technology things. I'm interested about that. Imagine that in China, one of these 16 will get into technology. They will study the extraterrestrials. NASA will have to restart these studies. There is no way out. Yeah, this is the technological part of China, right? Yeah, because the problem in the USA is very serious. You see this spelling woman. Bush talked nonsense for 8 years, but he never was as bad as this lady. She had not had enough education. Yeah, the American people is very connected to this technological thing, but this has been changing to China, right? Well, there must be more things about that, the economical things. Professor, is there any kind of compulsory migration? Because the planet today is about to have 7 million. The subhumans are going to become humans. In Richelieu's book, he talks about horses and all that. Yeah, but this is nonsense. The humans are a problem already. There are many subhumans that are humans. And there are many people, humans and races that are disappearing. They are going to be extinct. But these humans will have a lot of animal instinct. Yeah, but this will be more controlled. The earth is not like that anymore. The problem is the people. That's what you need to pay attention to. But you say that the concerns are going to resonate until 2070s. And after that there will be a period of turbulences, right? Yeah, but it's happening right now. Take a look at this lady, Sarah Palin. She was talking about killing Assange. If you are against the USA, their secrets, so she thinks she's the best. The question is, the subhumans who are going to become humans, they have a lot of instinct. Aren't they just like reurbanized consexes? No, the reurbanized consexes are worse, because the subhumans have no consciousness. They are not aware. But what about the first life of the human who was a subhuman? No, but this doesn't happen like that. Everything's so correctly organized, like you're saying. For example, this dog, Akira, this dog I know, from what I think, there is over 4 millenniums of life. I've known him for all this time. More than that. You see, 4 millenniums. Can you think about that? A dog? How many millennia did it take for him to understand that he needed to go and get a ball? The tendency is that humanity will stabilize the process. They will learn how to live with vegetables, subhumans. You see, now we have ecology and all that. That's what we need. For example, one of the places who eat animals the most is China. They eat dogs. And you can't say that they are not civilized, because in Italy, I went to Verona and I saw a crowd there in front of this butcher, and they were selling horse meat. Verona, when I went there, few decades ago, 3 decades ago. So this will get better. In Asia, they eat the monkey's brain. Yeah, but don't worry about that. We need to think about the humans, assist people. And if we can, we should assist the subhumans too. There's something I want to tell you, that my 2 cats at home are groomed, and they are looking like dogs now. I see that it's a cat because there is this beard, this fur in his head, but he looks like a dog now. His skin is very beautiful, but he is different now, looking like a dog. Do you understand that? So it was all groomed, 0, because of the heat. He is so happy. His long, huge tail. His belly, poor cat, it's very flat. Yeah, women don't even like to look at it. This belly thing's moving from one side to the other. It's not easy. That's life. But people, we are going to stop now. Thank you. Today we have 174 people signed in the book, 40 presential questions, 18 online questions, 39 votes, presential votes, and 8 online votes. We have 5 messages today from Mario, Leandro, Will, Flávio, Amin. And before, Eduardo is going to talk about the Encyclopedia Friends. Good afternoon, everybody. We have good news to share. We've reached 300 subscriptions in the Encyclopedia Friends. We were under 300 for many months, and now we have all these friends. The bad news is that we have 50 subscriptions that are going to be overdue this month. It's like Sisyphus. We are trying to overcome that. And we are asking people who have not renewed the subscription, please do that if you can. And for the ones who don't know this program, we invite you to get to know it. We have here Professor Fábio, Professor Eliana, and myself. We are here to give you this information. Thank you. Hello, I invite everybody to the course, the Nepsogram course, which is going to happen on February 26th and 27 in Foz. It's an evaluation of the self-performance of Penta. If you want to start Penta, it's a good opportunity to see the range of this practice. Besides that, we are going to have a self-evaluation questionnaire on Saturday, and in the afternoon, energetic practices. It's going to be on February 26 and 27 all day long, and if you want more information, call 2102-1448 at IIPC.
Boa tarde, pessoal.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to invite whoever wants to help us to be volunteers here at the Tertulia's transmission. You need to be available at noon, and we usually leave at 3:30 p.m. You don't need to be expertise in computering, but if you are available, if you want to learn, we are going to train you. There is no problem about that. Even I did that. So we see many people here that come every day to the Tertulias, and these people can help us. It doesn't demand you a lot. About 3.5 hours a week. Thank you.
Boa tarde. Eu gostaria de estar convidando para a semana da Maxi Pro X. Já é a sexta semana. Nós estamos realizando no período ali do Carnaval, que é de 5 a 13 de março de 2011. São vários eventos. Dentre esses eventos, nós temos o Balanço Existencial, que é de 5 a 8, que é sábado, domingo, segunda e terça. Ali bem no feriado do Carnaval. Então, é uma oportunidade de várias pessoas poderem estar participando. Tem também o curso Amparadores, que é com o professor Mário Oliveira, que é na quarta-feira, o acoplamentário. Então, gostaria de estar estendendo o convite a todos. Quem já tem interesse, que reside aqui em Foz, ou mesmo em outra cidade, outra localidade, que já tem o interesse de fazer, a gente está pedindo para a pessoa já formalizar a inscrição aqui na recepção do CEAEC. Nós já temos mais de 50 inscritos, e nossa meta aí até janeiro está atingindo pelo menos 80. Normalmente esse curso a gente alcança 100 alunos. Então é interessante quem já demonstrou interesse, já formalizar, até para a gente poder estar facilitando o nosso contato aí com vocês, ok? Obrigado.
Thank you.
Boa tarde.
Good
em nome
afternoon.
da Editares e do CEAEC, eu
Of
gostaria de convidá-los para o
CEAEC,
curso Heterocrítica de pré-livro conscienciológico, onde nós vamos debater um livro que está quase pronto para publicação, que é o meu livro Teáticas da Invexologia, Otimizações e Evitações à Técnica da Inversão Existencial. Esse curso vai ocorrer no dia 5 e 6 de fevereiro, que é o primeiro final de semana de fevereiro. Ele não tem pré-requisitos. Ele ocorre com intercalado dinâmicas de leitura e dinâmicas de debate. Todos vão ter a oportunidade, então, de receber o livro na hora da inscrição e dar suas contribuições ao final do evento para a gente melhorar a obra que vai ser publicada. O livro ele traz 200 aspectos sobre a inversão existencial, e ele também foi feito todo com base nas folhas do Conscienciograma. Vai ser uma oportunidade forte séria para quem quiser participar, quem estiver se dedicando a escrever o próprio livro, quem estiver trabalhando com revisão de livros, e também quem pesquisar, quem for pesquisador da infexologia vai aproveitar muito. Todos estão convidados. Informações aqui na recepção do CEAEC.
Boa tarde. O meu convite é que todos venham participar do segundo Congresso Internacional de Verponologia, que ocorre aqui em Foz do Iguaçu em outubro desse ano. No momento, nós estamos na fase de chamada de trabalhos, então é a oportunidade de cada um de nós estarmos vendo as nossas pesquisas e verificando se temos alguma Verpon que gostaríamos de compartilhar com os nossos colegas. O convite está aqui, a chamada de trabalhos, para quem não recebeu por e-mail, ela está disponível no site do CEAEC, ceaec.org. Obrigada.
Download it from the CEAEC website.
O evento eleito para amanhã é duplo karma, especialidade duplo karmologia. Obrigada e boa tarde a todos.
Dual karma. Thank you.